I recorded this in 3 minutes last time, but we're going to do 60 seconds because I don't think anyone watched it all the way through, and every woman who dates men needs to hear this fucking story, okay? So a friend of a friend was going on Hinge dates, meets this guy, great rapport, great back and forth, great first date. He knocks it out of the park. He's like, second date, I'm going to cook dinner for you. She's like, don't gotta ask me twice. She goes over there, he cooks her dinner. He's like, I'm vegan also, so it might taste a little different than what you're used to, but I hope you like it. And she does. She likes it. It's good. He doesn't try to hook up with her, all green flags. The next day, she wakes up violently ill, projectile vomiting all day. Goes to the ER, they run a bunch of tests, and the doctor comes in the room and he looks at her really weird and he's like, ma'am, have you consumed human meat in the last 24 hours?
It's giving boss speech. It's giving boss speech. It's giving bad bitch. Never ever play me like I'm ass. Never bring a nigga over where I lay my head.
Okay, Rych Babes, I know y'all mad at me because I cut that video off at exactly the time that I wanted to, because I had to just let you know that this is a trigger warning. These are crazy dating story times that I found for you guys. And when I say I went through them and I'm just like, this is absolutely crazy. So please get your popcorn. It's a little too late for getting any coffee, but get your popcorn, get your drinks, get your sodas, get whatever it is that you need, because it's Friday and I think that we should be entertained with some crazy stories that can help us along the way. So with that being said, Rych Babes, I will not be back at the end of this video. You guys continue to watch at your own discretion. I love you all so much. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And also comment down below your thoughts on this video, and I will see you again soon. Love you.
She realizes what has happened, calls the cops. The cops show up to his apartment. Turns out it's an Airbnb that he rented out under a fake name. It's cleared out. All of his social media profiles are cleaned. Ladies, don't let him cook for you.
So I just saw this woman sharing her dating experience, and I'm going to play a clip of that in just a minute, but let me give you guys a quick backstory. So this woman goes out on a date with this man. He lives an hour away. They end up going to lunch, something simple, basic conversation, that's fine. He calls her the next day and is like, I'd like to see you again. And she's like, okay, that's fine. So he drives again an hour out of the way to come to visit her, and he comes to her house. And she's like, you know what, there's a great event going on nearby that we should go to. I'll even buy the tickets. He's like, no, I don't really want to do that. I'll probably get over there way too late to do that. So anyway, he arrives at her house and they're like sitting outside at first. And he's like, it's hot out here. So then he, she invites him in. He comes in and he immediately gets comfortable, puts his feet up on her coffee table, grabs a beer out of the fridge. And she's just like looking at him like, man, he got comfortable in my house quick. So she's like, trying to suggest different things they should do. And he keeps saying, no, I'm comfortable right here. Anyway, as a matter of fact, you're out of beer. And she's like, what? So child, she's like puttering around her house, folding laundry and all of this. She goes to her bathroom, her private bathroom in her house that she pays for. And this is what she finds.
I go in my ensuite, my bathroom in my private bedroom, and I notice there is a toothbrush and an extra bar of soap in my bathroom on the counter. So I said, is that yours? Knowing it was. And he said, oh yeah. He said, I was just going to stay over. He says, long drive. I said, it's only an hour. It's not a long drive. Date number 2.
Can you imagine? This man done helped himself, got his raggedy bar of soap, and put his toothbrush next to hers on a second date, talking about, I'll just spend the night. oh, no, you won't.
I'd had all the acting polite that I could take, and I just let him have it. I said, you're rude. You don't have any dating etiquette. You don't have any house manners.
And so the man says, I have a good job. And she says, look around. I have a good job too. This big house that you're sitting in, all these pretty things all around here, that's all me. So get out. The thing about it is, some of these men, they feel like they should get a return on their investment. That man took her to lunch the day before, and he thought that earned him a night's stay at this woman's house the very next day. This man with a good job felt like he needed to get more. Like he paid for more. For that cheap lunch, that cheap, simple lunch. What makes you think you're going to just put your toothbrush in somebody's home? Like some of these, the audacity is so rich, it's so thick, it's potent. Like you can cut it with a knife. If I told you, ladies, once, I will tell you again, and I will tell you over and over and over again until you get it. You don't have to be nice. You don't have to make a man comfortable. As soon as you're uncomfortable, let it go. As soon as that man was acting like he didn't have anything planned on the second date, he just wanted to lay up in your house, soaking up your AC, playing on your TV all day, got his feet up on your coffee table and all that. As soon as she felt uncomfortable, she should have told him to leave. You know what? This isn't working out. But she waited until she couldn't take it anymore. That toothbrush and that bar of soap was a deal breaker. But ladies, don't feel like you have to be nice. As soon as you're uncomfortable, call it. You don't owe this man anything. He drove an hour there and he could drive an hour back. He's not spending the night at your house on no second date because he took you to lunch yesterday. Man, so what about that lunch? Give him his money back if that's what he needs, but don't let somebody just make you feel uncomfortable in your own home.
Tell me men kind of scare you without telling me men kind of scare you.
So let me tell you about the time I reverse repeat this guy. A couple of years ago, a guy I went to college with asked me out on a date. We were supposed to be going to get drinks, and he was like, come to my house so we can just leave from this location and take one car. I didn't think anything of it, but when I get there, he says he's not done getting ready and that we should just come in for a second and chill and then we can depart. I get inside, he asks me if I want a glass of wine, and I'm like, of course I want a glass of wine, because I love wine. So he pours a glass of wine and he puts a wine charm on my glass, which I thought was kind of weird because it was just the two of us. So why do we need to identify which drink is which? I leave something in the car and, like a dumbass, leave my drink unattended for about a minute and a half and come back. And when I get back, there's this weird powdery substance floating on the top of my drink. At this point, all of the fire alarms in my head are like ring-a-ling-a-linging, and I had to think of a master plan quick. You guys will never guess what happened next. Okay, this is part 2 of me telling you a story about how I reverse repeat this guy. So at this point, like I said, the fire alarms were ring-a-ling-a-linging in my head. I was super sketched out. But I still had this self-doubt thing that women do where we're like, oh no, you're overreacting. You're making it up in your mind. You're just being paranoid. I wasn't being paranoid. But I knew I had to come up with a plan really quickly. So I'm standing there looking at the drink and he's like, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. But my phone's about to die. Do you think you can go grab me a charger? So he's like, yeah, I got you. And he leaves the room to go get a charger. And I knew I had to move quickly. So I take the wine charm off of my drink, put it on his, stir in the powdery substance, and then switch the drinks. By the time he walks back in, I'm casually sipping the wine like everything is cool. We finish our drinks and maybe 10 to 15 minutes later, he starts to get really sleepy and asks me if I can leave. Before I could leave, he had already passed out on the couch. Like for a part 3 if you want me to tell you how I almost got abducted last year.
Last video was be careful when trusting a man. This story is be careful when trusting a woman. So my family grew up in this church and like we've been going there for like generations. And my grandma was best friends with the church lady, wife of the pastor. Now she was dying of cancer and she told my grandma, he's cheating on me and I know it. It's obvious. She passes away, unfortunately. Who comes into the church with a new woman 2 weeks later? The pastor. And it's crazy because this is one of those kind of churches where all the women were trying to get with the pastor, and like after the main lady died, they were all over him. Everybody was bringing him food, and he brought this new woman in. So all of the other like church ladies like didn't like her immediately because they were like, I want him, I should be with him. And it's crazy because the church secretary, she was sleeping with him. He told her that he was going to leave the wife, but he never did. And so she actually passed away, and it was of a broken heart. It was literally labeled as like of a broken heart because he came in with this new lady. So she passed away, R.I.P. her. So not only did the ladies of the church not like her, but my grandma didn't like her and the pastor's kids hated her. And she was like low-key, I don't want to say evil, but she wasn't a good vibe. Even me knowing her now. So this woman basically broke up him and his children's relationship, but he also tarnished it himself because why were you cheating on their dying mother? But fast forward many years later, like the children barely even talk to him now. I know y'all hate this knife. If you want me to get a new knife, 7 people cash at me $1, I'll get a new knife. The pastor was a healthy man who you wouldn't expect to get sick. And so the children hated him, but they would come back on a few occasions. The last time that one of the kids actually got to see him, he said to him, if anything happens to me, it was her. But they were like, what do you mean? Like, and he just never explained. Another one of the kids walked in one time and saw her preparing his plate. And she opened a secret compartment in the cabinet, pulled out a silver can, and sprinkled dust onto the food. And she said to her, she was like, what's that? And she was like, oh, it's just my little special ingredient. Like, it just makes the food taste better. And she was like, okay. Fast forward many years later. Gotta do a part 2. They took away the 10-minute option.
The lotion he was rubbing on her back was breaking down her skin for him to eat her. It was breaking down her skin for human consumption. Ladies, you have to trust your instinct. Trust your guts, okay? She is there for a reason. She is there to help you, and she could save your literal life. Now, let me tell y'all this story about this man. His name is Glenn Powell. So his sister, right? His sister's friend went on a date with this man, right? Everything was going great. She said he was charming, he was sweet, everything was everything. So she goes back to this man's house or whatever, right? But when she got to his house, she started feeling like, I don't know, something's a little off. And so whatever, she tried to push through. Trust your gut though, ladies. Trust that gut feeling. Anyway, so he like, oh, okay, everything is everything. Can I give you a massage? So again, she's still kind of feeling like, but she like, all right, maybe I'm tweaking out. So she lets him go ahead and give her a massage. He rubbing her down, but she just got this feeling. She cannot shake this fucking feeling, y'all. So she like, you know what? I gotta go. He like, oh, no, what's the problem? I'm sorry. You know, it could be better. Let's just make it better. Just stay. What's the problem? She like, no, I gotta go. And she dipped off out of there. Why the next day her back started to itch so fucking bad to the point that she had to go to the hospital. She gets to the hospital. Why the doctor tell her she has the lotion he was rubbing on her back was breaking down her skin for him to eat her. It was breaking down her skin for human consumption. This man was gonna eat her. Like, not in a good way. Not in a good way. He was going to eat her. So, whatever. The doctor was like, you got to give me this man's address. We got to call the police. We got to get the police over there because this is like black market. Like, this is like, no, this is not okay. So, she gives them the information. Please get over there. Why he had other girls in the house? That I don't know if they was unalived already. I don't know if they was eating already. I don't know if he had already ate them. I don't know if it was bits and pieces of them. But it was, and they didn't say exactly how many. They just said several. He has several other girls in the house. Ladies, trust your gut. And also, don't be going to these men's house. Don't go to these men's house on the first date. Y'all got to get the Carfax on these men. I done told y'all. Get the full Carfax on these men before y'all go doing anything with them. Y'all need to get their full names. Get their social if you can. Get phone numbers and addresses. And y'all need to do some searches, okay? She was almost eating. Good thing she was listening to that gut.
You guys, this is the craziest story I have ever heard. I just have to share this, and this is why you have to be careful when you hook up with people when you're traveling to a foreign country. So this girl, I'm just gonna call her Natalie. I'll just use my name. So Natalie was traveling to, I don't want to say the name of the country, but she traveled overseas from America, and she was in this country for only a few days, and she ended up meeting this guy at a bar. We're gonna call him Sam. So Sam and Natalie headed off, and they go to multiple dinners together, where I was told that Natalie said that he was constantly feeding her like an insane amount of food at each dinner. Like, it was her last night with Sam, and she still hadn't gone back to his place, and he was really adamant about her coming back home with him, and he kept asking her at dinner like, oh, you're gonna come back home, right? You're gonna come back home with me, like you leave tomorrow. Natalie got a little bit creeped out by it. She ended up calling her sister because her and her sister were on the trip together, and she left the dinner. She didn't go back. She's like, oh, my sister needs me, I gotta go, blah blah blah. And she said like Sam was blowing up her phone. Anyways, she gets on her flight, she goes back to the United States, and she develops I can't even say it. She develops a rash on her back. So she goes to the dermatologist, told her dermatologist, hey, like I just came back from this country, like I developed this rash, not sure what this is, test for it, and then, you know, let me know what comes back. So she was on campus when she got the call from her dermatologist, and her dermatologist was, why am I saying it like that? Her dermatologist was like, call me right now. So her derm calls her, and she's like, what are you doing? I need you to come to the office right now. Police are gonna be here. And she was like, what's going on? And she's like, come, I can't say it over the phone. So So the girl comes to the dermatologist's office, and it wasn't even the police, it was FBI. Turns out that the rash that was on her back was actually a cream that was put that's used for cannibalism. The FBI ended up asking her, like, who have you met with in the last 6 months? She told them about the guy. FBI ends up working with the police in that country. They raid the guy's apartment, and they found multiple skulls and limbs that belonged to several women that were missing. He fully intended on killing her and eating her. Apparently, like, that's the reason why he was taking her to dinner and trying to really get her full. I don't even know. Just be careful out there when it comes to hooking up with people, because you never know, you know? You never know.
I literally just hopped out of a moving car because I was on the date from hell. Okay, like when I tell you I didn't even wait for this man to pull over, he was over an hour late for our date. Over an hour late to our date. I should have known then to just cancel the shit because you're not respecting my time. However, I overlooked it because I'm like, oh my God, I've known this person since high school, you know, and he's communicating with me, letting me know like, hey, I'm going to be, you know, this amount of minutes late. Like, you know, he's calling me, texting me, letting me know what's up because there's traffic. You know, we live here in LA, shit happens. He's coming off work, whatever. So I was cool with it. I was like, all right, cool. You're being communicative. Like, I'll still continue the date. He comes to pick me up over an hour late. And when I get in the car, we hug. Hey, nice to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Like, you know, good to see you. Right. And then I let him know like, hey, like you're an hour late. Like next time, like, please don't show up so late because like, I won't like go on a date. Like I was being firm. I wasn't being a bitch. I wasn't being condescending. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't being aggressive. None of that shit. I was just letting him know like, hey, I'm a very punctual person. My time is valuable to me. And if you're going to tell me you're going to be here at 6 o'clock, don't show up past 6. Okay, don't show up at especially 7 o'clock an hour later. And do you know that this man turned his car around? It's like, I'm taking you back home. Like, who do you think you are telling me that I can't be late picking you up to a date? I drove 30 minutes to pick you up and I paid for these tickets and blah, 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 blah. And who do you think you are? Who the fuck do I think I am, sir? Like, this is why they warn you, don't ever date the person that has chased you for a long time, that has wanted you for a long time, because they're usually crazy. I jumped out of a halfway moving car tonight because I could not get away from this man fast enough. And I left his door wide the fuck open and he like busts a bitch in the middle of the street and like peels off. What the fuck is wrong with you men? Are you seriously mad because someone told you don't be an hour late to picking them up? The woman that you've been chasing for over 20 years finally gives you the time of day. I feel like this is one of those moments where he had it in his mind the whole time to play in my face because he wanted to get back at me from 20 years ago or something. Now, mind you, this is not an ex. I've never done anything to this man. I've never slept with him, never kissed him, never like curved him in any type of way, never played with this man's emotions. But I feel like because he didn't have access to me for over 20 years, when he finally got the opportunity, he wanted to like show me who's boss. Okay.
One time I was talking to this guy on Bumble and he wanted to go on a first date and he wanted to go on a hike. And I know that's like a new thing now that people want to go on a hike and don't want to get a drink, don't want to do that. I was like, okay, that's fine. But I don't want to go on a hike. I don't want to go in the middle of nowhere in the woods with someone that I don't know. I was like, well, how about a park or something? He's like, no, I want to go on a hike. And I was like, okay, you're going to go on a hike by yourself then. I'm not going into the woods or into the middle of nowhere with someone I don't even know, sir. And he was like, all right, well, we can go for a drive then. I'm like, I don't want to go for a drive. If I didn't want to go on a hike, I don't want to go for a drive. I do not want to be alone with you, sir. That is not what we're going to do on a first date. Hello, people are crazy. So then he was like super pushy about it and I thought that was weird. And then he was like, well, that's fine. We can go to this park then. I'll pick you up. What's your address? And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not giving you my address. You're a stranger. And he was like, why? I want to be a gentleman. Why won't you let me pick you up? And I was like, you can be a gentleman in a million ways and you being super pushy right now is not the way to be a gentleman. I am not giving you my address. And he was like super aggressive about it. So then I was like, you know what? I'm going to block you. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. So I blocked him on Bumble. Now, he didn't have my full name. He didn't have my phone number. All of a sudden I get this Facebook message and he was like, hey, sorry, I'm in the CVS parking lot. Someone pulled up next to me. He was like, hey, why did you block me? And I was like, bro, this is why I blocked you. First of all, you are super aggressive. You want to meet in the middle of nowhere. Second of all, you want my address. You're like, want to pick me up, whatever. And now you found me on Facebook. I do not know how. Like, I blocked you. And unless you had my images saved and then you Google image search me after, like, why did you even have my picture? Like, how could you even find me after Bumble? So then I blocked him on Facebook and he finds me on Instagram. And I was like, bro, you are boo, 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 like setting off all sorts of alarms. So then I got back on Bumble and I like reported him to Bumble and I was like, hey, this is what's going on. He seems super creepy. He's super pushy about a first date. He wants to meet a first date in the middle of nowhere. He wants to meet in the woods. He wants to go for a drive, whatever. Now he's found me on all of these different forms of social media. So I blocked him. I blocked him here. I blocked him on all forms of social media that I can. And then I didn't hear from him again, but I was like, this is a little sketchy. So I have the guy's like information and I am always like watching the news to see if maybe he pops up as like a serial killer or something. But I think I might post him on one of those Are We Dating the Same Guys and just be like, hey, alert, alarms, like watch out for this dude because he wants to meet you in the middle of nowhere, wants your address, and then he gets really angry if you don't give it to him.